It's a well-known fact that we in the TF2 community love our hats, especially our unusuals. But being me, I of course have to overanalyze our beloved hats to see what kind of advantage or disadvantage these little particle effects have on my gameplay. Aside from looking more flamboyant than me in my senior year of high school, what upsides do these virtual particles actually have? Well, we've all seen the Reddit shitposts of a guy showing up into a server with a decent looking unusual and getting 3 pocket medics for his spy. While this can be considered an upside, it's really quite negligible since this will only really happen in pubs, and if the medics were doing this, they aren't likely to be that good anyway. Not to mention that the rest of your team will miss out on all the heals and the damage potential of 3 noobs had they been a class other than medic. I've heard from another content creator, as well as in-game on one occasion, that the smoking effect that I have on my Crohn's Dome actually makes it harder to headshot me. But before you throw your wallet at your computer and get a triple smoking cosmetic set, keep in mind that I've literally only heard this from 2 players in the entire TF2 community, and the effect probably makes it easier to see my head on a black background as often, if not more often, than the smoke hides it. The only other upside I could think of would be the intimidation factor of an unusual, which might be valid. I mean, if someone has a valuable hat, they've probably put a lot of time and effort into the game, and they will probably be very good at it. But even this isn't as solid as you might think, because maybe another player could be intimidated by the unusual, or maybe they could feel challenged, and that challenge would lead them to try even harder at fighting you, and maybe give them the edge over the person that's actually wearing the unusual. Why unusuals actually put you at what I believe is a disadvantage, that being that you have a giant glowing target on your head. See, humans are meant to recognize things that wouldn't fit into their natural environment for survival reasons. Think about if there was a predator hiding somewhere. Being able to recognize it moving oddly, or colors on it sticking out of its environment, would be a very valuable skill to have. Now most if not all unusual effects move, and since humans subconsciously pay more attention to moving things, this means you'll be spotted more easily even if your character is not actually moving. Many unusual effects, especially the high tier effects, are very bright and visible, and again, this sticks out and makes your brain go, the fuck? It's the same reason hunting vests and high visibility vests are bright orange or neon green, so they stick out and you can see them. And there are even unusual effects that give your enemy a type of wall hack, like Stormy Storm, Blizzardy Storm, or any other effects that float above your head. They basically place a target above your head that tells people where you are, even if you're on the other side of a wall that covers your entire body. Now I'm not making this video to say that you shouldn't go out and get your dream unusual or anything, because ultimately if you're looking into getting an unusual, then you probably have the skill to compensate for the fact that there's a flare strapped to your head. And most of these downsides only apply if you don't want to be seen, so on classes like spies, snipers, scouts, soldiers, or any other class that you might get into sneaky situations where you're hiding in some weird place, then you probably wouldn't want an unusual that gets you spotted easily. But if you're a class that's always in the spotlight, like maybe heavy or pocket soldier or one of those other classes, then having an unusual probably wouldn't have a huge effect on your gameplay, but you know, it still makes you a little bit easier to spot out of the corner of someone's eye. But anyway, I digress. And if you're on the fence about buying an unusual and you're watching this to get buying advice, I'd say don't buy an unusual. They're cool, but like honestly, they're not worth the money, and you'll get addicted to looking fancy and spending too much money on virtual items. And if you do still want an unusual after hearing all this, get something that looks good but is low-key, like smoking. It's one of my favorite effects. It's also one of the cheaper effects in the game, and it might occasionally save you from a sniper headshot.